So thanks guys for sticking around for this last presentation. So currently I'm working for a company called Columbian Road, assuming some of you at least know already what it is about. Did someone participate in our hackathon, Junction challenge? Yeah, awesome. Great to hear. But basically, as you've heard already, so Columbian Road is one of the Futurice family companies. And yeah, I'll share a few words about what we do and what kind of summer jobs we have positions for this summer, and the application is still open. So if you like what you hear, so I would be really, really curious to chat to more of you. But first, I'm going to introduce myself briefly. So basically, I've been at Columbian Road for a year now. My name is Johanna Mähänen, if you did miss that in the earlier part. And yeah, I'm working as a designer, so I do design consulting for various companies, but I'm also part of the recruiting team. So I'm meeting most of the designers who start working for Columbian Road, and I'm part of the interviewing process. So I did EIT Digital. I did the human-computer interaction and design track, and both KTH and UCL. I also continued working in London, so I was part of Thomson Reuters Innovation Lab there, as well as worked for UCL briefly. And before that, I worked in Stockholm for a digital agency for a couple of years, and as well for Tieto here in Finland. So I've been through at least a couple of workplaces in our field and done various design roles. And what I'm happy to say that why I like Columbian Road so much is that basically this is the first place that really allows me to use my skill set to the broadest extent. There are very few silos, especially if you're a designer or a developer. And that's why that is something that I'm going to go to in more detail. But basically, to jump into the Columbian Road introduction, Columbian Road is close to my heart for another reason, as well as it's being my current job. Basically, when I lived in London, so I lived very close to the Columbian Road flower market, which is where the company gets its name from. And there's a funny story that I think summarizes quite well what Columbian Road does. So the story of the flower market was that it opened sometime in 1800s. And started operating as a Saturday market. But unfortunately, there were quite many other Saturday markets, and Columbian Road didn't really thrive. There were not many people going there. So they got a stroke of insight, and what that was to change the day into Sunday market and sell all the leftover things from the other Saturday markets at the lower price. And that was the critical pivotal moment that turned Columbian Road Flower Market one of the most iconic destinations in London today. So, and that's basically what Columbian Road does. We are after impact. So we help Finnish companies, and of course, we also operate in Sweden at the moment, to thrive. We help them to be more efficient and make more revenue. So we're focusing on business problems instead of design challenges or technical challenges. We use design and technology as tools to solve business problems. And who we are today, we're almost 3.5 years old company, so we're relatively new compared to Futurice, but yeah, we've grown to almost 80 people in that short period of time, and we have already 16 different nationalities covered across our people. And also, so to name, we have an office in Helsinki, where most of the people are, but we've also recently opened a Stockholm office, which also has summer internships, if you're interested, and in the Stockholm area. The kind of like representation of different skills. So as Futurice, we have a lot of developers, we have a lot of designers, but where we differ, we have also a big competence for marketing technologies, which basically is a pivotal competence for us, because we always bring the marketing knowledge also into all of our projects that we do. And you might spot the weird one. So we have also 10 platypi, which basically resembles those people who are not who don't identify with just one competence, but can work across several, for instance, designers and that also do code. And I think Columbia Road is one of the nicest places for people who are interested in multiple competences. As I mentioned, it's what we require from all of our people is the interest in solving business problems in addition to their own competence. And therefore, if you have a wide set of knowledge, that will really be an advantage for you, because what the problems we solve require thinking from very many different perspectives. So as mentioned already, we help companies grow. We help their sales process and sales transformation from the very beginning to an end. So our typical projects might look like building a web shop from scratch or improving an existing one. But what was a surprise for me in how many shapes and forms and disguises web shops come. Many of the services that I was using, I didn't realize they were basically in the end a web shop like Spotify or Netflix. You don't think of them as shops, but yeah, they're selling their product to you. So the technology and the products that you can be working with are very, very vast and versatile. And yeah, about the culture. So as Futurice, we are a very flat organization. We allow our the employees to have a lot of freedom to say what they want. And I guess as we have everything as you would expect from a modern company. So nice benefits, always beer in the fridge, and those small things to keep everyone happy. And yeah, as well, we do, this is a photo from our annual trip that was to Stockholm this year, where we had a lot of fun. But maybe to go to the main beef. Oops. So these are our summer internships. And as mentioned, we're searching for at least 2 people in each of their competence, and both in Helsinki and Stockholm. And I guess the key things that we are looking to find in a person is that kind of problem-solving attitude. You be having great skills in your competence, but as well curiosity to learn about other fields as you work. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to talk to me if you're interested, and I'm happy to answer all of your questions. Thank you. Have you got any questions now? Yeah?
Can you give examples of sort of projects that you have going on?
Yeah, for instance, we are responsible for Marimekko's web shop. So we're basically running it and constantly improving it. So that's one type of a project. And we do that also for many other companies. So that might work in, for instance, retail, or we also work with Elisa, and we are helping them to sell their mobile contracts and energy industry. And many of the companies that you saw Futurice is working with, we are also. And it could be something like you need to kind of scope and build something from the beginning. So including decisions like what platform to build it on, like how's the design going to be, and what functionality to include, into just very rapidly improving something that exists already, and just trying to figure out what are the most impactful changes that we can find.
How would you differentiate between Columbian Road and Futurice? Because it looks like there's a bit of overlap there.
Yeah, so definitely we do have the design and we have the tech competences in common. But then basically Futurice doesn't have focus on marketing technologies, which is basically a core of our team. So we always send a designer, a developer, and a marketing technology person to make a project. That's our common set, which is different to Futurice's. And also, we don't see that there's any like intrinsic value in just a cool tech or a cool design. It always has to be part of something greater, and that is basically improving a company's performance.
Do you have a language requirement for a sales associate?
I think we're trying to do so that if we would hire one Finnish speaking and one like non-Finnish speaking in each of the competences. So at least that's my current understanding. Yeah.
Are you sitting at the client's office or?
Yeah, so a regular week for, we call everybody working for Columbian Road a roadie. So a typical week for a roadie is from Monday to Thursday, sit at the client's office if possible. But every Friday we gather together, and that's when we have most of our knowledge sharing and breakfast together. So we all kind of like get a good sense of who we are as colleagues, not just like serving the clients.
I had a question.
Yeah.
How is it like the interviewing process, so the recruitment process? What are the stages or the tests that you have to?
All right. Yeah. So for the summer internship, it's going to be one round of interviews. So you need to submit your application end of this month, and early December would contact you for an interview. And basically, if you pass that interview, you got the job. And for our full-time positions, we require 2 rounds of interviews minimum, where you would showcase your portfolio, and we'll ask you difficult questions. So, but don't worry, we'll ask you difficult questions for the summer internships as well. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I also have to apologize for 2 things. First of all, because I know it's quite late. And second, because as everyone could see, I'm really bad at putting microphones. So as a token of appreciation and also to apologize, there you go. Some nice wine so you enjoy and forget the microphone thing.
Thank you. It's already forgotten.
Thank you again.